Welcome to the Functional Communication Training Implementation video. In this video, we're going to watch Victor implement FCT. Victor, on the left, is a therapist. Bree, on the right, is a client. Bree cries in order to get access to a pen and paper so that she can color. Victor is teaching her to request a pen and paper by saying, "Color." Now let's watch. Victor starts off by preparing his datasheet, so he gets a plus on item 1. Additionally, if we look closely, we can see that he also has a reinforcer in his hand, and his timer on the table, so he gets a plus on item 2 for having the appropriate materials ready.
Hey Bree, what's your favorite colors?
Let's skip forward so you don't have to watch Bree draw for 60 seconds.
My turn.
Victor allowed Bree to have access to her reinforcer, that is, the colors, for 1 full minute, so he gets a plus on item 3. This step is important so that Bree's interest in coloring is high, and she's motivated to get him back. But in order to teach her to request for items, Victor first needs to remove it, which he does, so he gets a plus on item 4.
Color.
Since this is the first time that Victor's implementing functional communication training with Bree, he started off by immediately prompting with the full word, color. He gets a plus on item 5 for following the prompt feeding plan. The prompt feeding plan is written to help Bree learn how to request as quickly as possible, so it's important to follow it closely. After Victor prompted, Bree tried to grab the coloring material out of Victor's hand, which is an incorrect response. Victor did not provide praise or allow her to get access to the coloring materials, so he gets a plus on item 6. This brings us to the end of trial 1. Let's move the performance monitoring tool over to trial 2.
Color.
As our second trial starts, we see that Victor is still blocking access to the coloring material, so he gets a plus on item 4 in this trial. In the previous trial, Bree did not respond correctly, so Victor continued to use a full code prompt to encourage Bree to request the coloring materials, which means he also gets a plus on item 5. It's tough to watch someone cry, but it's important to remember that if we implement the procedure well, we'll help Bree learn to communicate what she wants, so that she will no longer have a reason to cry. In order to avoid reinforcing Bree's crying with attention, Victor turns away and maintains a neutral expression while Bree cries. Let's watch to see if he waits at least 5 seconds after Bree stops crying. According to our timer, Victor waited at least 5 seconds after Bree stopped crying, before he delivered the next prompt. It's important to remember to wait at least 5 seconds after the challenging behavior, so that we teach Bree to request for items without crying as well. Now, let's move on to trial 3.
Color.
Victor continued to block access to the coloring materials, and he used the correct prompt. That's a plus on item 4 and 5. And he waited at least 5 seconds after Bree stopped crying. That's the end of trial 3.
Color.
As trial 4 starts, Victor continues to block access to the item and immediately prompts with a full echoic prompt.
Color. Good job. There you go.
Wow! Bree successfully requested her colors. Victor immediately gives her access to her colors, gives her praise, and collects data. Nice! Now, let's make sure he gives her access to her colors for at least 20 seconds before we move on to the next trial.
Oh, that's such beautiful drawings. Oh, that looks so nice.
Victor rewarded Bree's request by allowing her to color for at least 20 seconds. He gets a plus on this item. That's end of trial 4.